So these are the 5 ways to break your glass apart. You've created a score along the glass surface using your glass cutter, and now you get to choose between these methods to help you break that glass successfully. So the first method for me is probably the funnest way to break glass. This works best for straight cuts. Slight waves and minor curves will still work for this, but deeper curves will not work. For this cut to work, you need enough material so you can grip it easily with both hands, and the score line is right down the middle. You want to pop it apart right at the score line, pop it up and away. Score line is on top. Now, a few things about this method. It works best if the glass is thinner, like picture frame glass, and it also works best on see-through cathedral glass. Opalescent glass is more dense, and it'll be a little harder to break with just the force of your hands. Also, if the glass piece is too long, there's a chance the run could go off and break away from the score. So I like to do this on medium-sized pieces, and when I know it'll be an easy break. So what if you have a bigger sheet of glass and you want to break that apart? This second method is where the table comes in, and it's only for straight cuts, and you will need about 4 to 5 inches of glass to be able to grip it and break it comfortably. So you will use the table's edge to support one side of the glass and hang the other side off the table. The edge of the table should be a sharp edge and not a rounded edge. We are using the absolute edge to split the glass along the score line. Line up the score line perfectly to the table's edge. Hold down the glass with one hand, and while grabbing onto the hanging glass, pop it down and away. This is best for longer runs, and again, easier with thinner glass, clear glass, or see-through cathedral glass. Now, this third method is probably my most trusted method. I do this 90 to 95% of the time, and it's with the running pliers. It's very dependable and the most accurate method for me. I make the score, line up the plier, and squeeze. You can do straight lines all day long. You can even do some curves too once you start messing with plier pressure. And there's a limit set screw to control how much you can squeeze down on the glass. The only thing it may have a problem with is when the score line is very long. The pliers can start the run, but that run might not make it all the way down to the end accurately. That's why a table would be better for longer straight runs, but for the most part, the running pliers will do most of all your breaks perfectly. Sometimes, however, you're trying to cut a smaller piece, and the score will be so close to the edge of the piece that the running pliers won't have room to grip the glass, which is why this fourth method would call for the breaking pliers. The breaking pliers act as strong fingers to hold the glass and break it apart in the same fashion we've seen, gripping the glass and popping it at the seam or the score line. This combo pliers helps to grip the smaller section of the glass since our fingers can't get to it. And finally, the last method of breaking glass apart is using the tapping method. After the score, you can use the heavy back end of your cutter to tap on the glass along the score line to create a run. You can do this on either side of the glass and continue tapping until the run starts to connect and eventually breaks the glass apart. This method is a good way to help with curves, and you can see the physical cracks happening so you know where the glass will eventually break. It takes some skills on this one to get a feel for the glass and to accurately tap the glass with the right amount of strength to break it, but it can be a fun method to try too. But personally, I like the first method of breaking the glass with your hands. There's something raw and cool about it, and the sound it gives is always satisfying. You can always check out more tips in these other videos, and if you have questions, please leave them down in the comments. And thank you guys, I'll see you in the next one.